This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Ito po ang ating programa tungkol sa Asia, sa international relations ng Pilipinas, Journeys, Chronicles of our Asian Century. And ang ating panauhin na itong araw na to, si Ginoong Rod Kapunan ay columnist po sa Manila Times. Here's a sampling of his columns. Ilang taon na po siya nagsusulat, kaya maraming at mahaba na po ang listahan ng mga articles niya. Pero itong nakaraang linggo, this past week, Rod wrote a piece that came out in China Daily. Ito po ang pamagat, Trade War, Backfiring on the US. At ang China Daily ay isa sa pinakamalaki at pinakamahalagang pahayagan sa China. It has a circulation of 500,000. It started its first issue in June 1981. And it's a major paper, major international paper. At itong nakarang araw lang po, this week, the second week of September, ang Estados Unidos ay humingi ng panibagong pakikipag-usap sa China tungkol dito sa trade war nila. Maalala po ninyo, September 6 or September 5 was the date that the United States set, or President Trump set for the last day of discussion on their additional $200 billion 25% tariff on Chinese imports. At hanggang ngayon po, hindi pa sinasagawa ito. And before this has happened, nanawagan ang Estados Unidos, ang representative ni Trump, si Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin, na makipag-usap ulit sa mga kinatawan ng China for new trade talks. Now, maraming nagsasabi, narinig natin, nababasa natin, na ang China ay walang laban dito sa trade war kasi ang China $500 billion ang export sa Estados Unidos. Ang Estados Unidos ay mga $150 billion ng export sa China. So ano pa ba ang malalagyan ng taripa ng China kung yung 150 billion na exports ng Estados Unidos sa China ay malagyan na ng taripa? Wala na. Well, this is another factor I will show you is even more important, or equally important at least. Dahil maraming kumpanyang Amerikano ay nasa loob ng China na nagbebenta hanggang sa 200 or more than $200 billion taon-taon. Halimbawa, ito, nasa image sa susunod, Investors Business Daily po. Yung Apple, General Motors, Boeing are China's top hostages in a Trump trade war. At makikita po ninyo sa tabi, yung Apple, taon-taon, annual China sales, $46.4 billion. Ang General Motors, $45 billion. Boeing, na over the next 20 years, expected sales nila, libo-libong mga eroplano, mawawala po yan. Ito ang nakakalimutan ng iba na tingnan. Now, isa sa malaking factor din po dito sa labanan na to ay yung utang ng Estados Unidos na 27 trillion. Yung public debt po is 19 trillion while private debt is $27 trillion. And at least 3 trillion of this, if I'm not mistaken, 1.5 trillion is to China, ang utang ng Estados Unidos. In fact, there is a private debt crisis in the United States now. Household savings rate in the United States decreased to 6.7% from 6.80% in June of 2018. Ganyan lang po ang savings rate nila, 6%. Personal savings in the United States average 8.83% from 1959 to 2018. Samantalang, if we look at the Chinese savings rate, China has $27 trillion in savings. Ito pong storya diyan, $27 trillion. Ang taas kasi po ng savings, ang pag-impok ng mga Chino, private household, nagtatabi sila lagi, 48% of the GDP ang savings nila. In fact, the IMF is complaining, sobrang matipid at sobrang mag-impok o mag-savings ang mga Chino, at sabi dito, savings is good, right? Up to a point, sabi ng IMF. But too much savings by individuals can be bad for society, ayon sa IMF. That's because the flip side of high savings is low consumption and low household welfare. High savings can also fuel excessive investment, resulting in a buildup of debt in China. And because people in China save so much, they buy fewer imported goods than they sell abroad. That contributes to global imbalances, according to the recent IMF paper. But hindi ba ang tinuturo sa atin savings is good. Savings rate ng Pilipino napakababa rin. But all these are in the context of the trade war. At tatanungin natin ngayon si Ginoong Rod Kapunan, kasama po natin, at kababalik po lang sa China at sa lecture niya sa Guangzhou. Tanungin natin kung anong karanasan niya itong huling biyahe niya, anong mga puntos niya dito sa trade war, at bakit magba-backfire sa Estados Unidos. Rod, kamusta ang biyahe mo muna sa China? Sino kasama mo?
Naman, kasama ko si General Victor Corpus. Binigyan kami ng pagkakataon makapagsalita doon sa Philippine Studies sa Jinan University.
Jinan University.
Jinan University. Medyo napakaganda. Sapagat ang napansin ko, marami sa mga estudyante doon, ng mga Chino, mas mukhang alam pa nila nangyayari dito kasi sa karamihan sa mga kababayan natin. Yun ang medyo nabigla ako doon. Marami sa kanila nakakaalam. They are fully conscious of what's going on here. And also of this current trade war between the Philippines and the United States. Yun ang medyo napakaganda doon.
Si General Victor Corpus nagsalita din?
Yes, nagsalita siya tungkol sa mga the importance of the South China Sea, about the Manila Trench, why is it so important to China for its survival. And then I also discussed about our claims, our dispute with the Chinese over the Spratly Islands. And I said that all we have to do is to examine our own history, the documents. In fact, I talk about the Treaty of Paris, and then the Independence Declaration, our 1935 Constitution, the subsequent treaties like the San Francisco Treaty and the Japan-Taiwan Treaty. These are so important that we have to examine word about our claim, because unless you understand these documents, you will never understand why we lost those. We do not have what we call a legal right over those islands. Now, as to our trade with to this Chinese-Philippine trade, well, my observation is that it is not really the weapon, or say weapon used by the United States, which is by imposing tariff, it's not applicable in the context that there is a difference in the value of the dollar against the yuan. So, when you impose a tariff against Chinese exports to the United States, you are practically driving away your own customers. Now, I'm saying this because, for instance, I was surprised when only Americans testified before the United States Congress looking into this Trump-initiated trade war. And to my surprise, it turned out that those who are objecting are Americans, principally because they have high stakes in the business of trading with China. For instance, Wall Street, Costco, these are the two biggest retailers in the United States. Walmart. They are against the idea of this trade war. First, they are the ones cornering the trading itself. They import from China and they export from the United States to China, the biggest importer-exporter. So they corner this business. So the business of trading revolves between the two of them. Now, as I said, the United States, the trade deficit all began by the overvalued dollar against the yuan. So every American's then happy that they can buy more from China for less dollar, and yet the Chinese will have to spend more for a few goods from the United States. That was the theoretical framework of this trade war. So this trade deficit ballooned to something like more than $200 billion now, dollars. $200 billion. And Trump expects to recover this, to trim this down by imposing tariff, which to my mind, tariff is applicable if the trade war is caused by protectionism. But it is not an issue of protectionism. It is principally because the deficit is the result of an overvalued currency. An overvalued currency against the yuan. So, in fact, the United States failed to notice this. Why? American corporations, you just mentioned, like Boeing, Apple, many other things, shifted their production plant to China because they want to avail of the Chinese labor. They didn't realize that it is not really labor that they're after. It is because they could pay less for every worker. And the production cost is much less by having their goods produced and manufactured in China. And in return, while the United States continue to incur trade deficit and incur its own industrial manufacturing industry is shrinking. It is shrinking. And that's why the United States economy from 1970 to the present, in 1970, when the United States decided to decouple, I should say, the dollar from the gold standard, it controls about 55% of the world's total manufacturing industry, plant. Now it's barely 1/6. See, when you talk about the dollar, it was agreed in the Bretton Woods Agreement that the value of the dollar will be pegged at $36 per ounce gold. And when the United States delinked that, it simply means that from then on, that was 1973, the so-called Nixon shock, the US dollar will be measured by its own GDP. Sarili na lang niyang pabrika. Siya na lang gross domestic product, siya na lang ang magme-measure sa sarili niyang valor ng kanyang pera. And so, the gold today is valued at 1,200 per ounce. The dollar also represents that equal with that amount, in that amount. Pero ang dollar, walang gold standard, walang gold reserve, walang backup. Ang nagbabackup lang dyan, nagbabackup lang dyan, imprenta, printing press lang ang nag-aano dyan. Pero, yan simula noon, the United States were all smiling when they could buy more for less than $1. Hindi na nalaman yun that it turned out that they were killing their own, they were killing the goose that lays the golden egg. Na walang industry, na wipe out ang industry nila eh. Kasi mas mura. Yun ang hindi naintindihan ng tao.
Yeah, may ang Estados Unidos, malaki din ang export in quotation marks ng services, financial services sa China, and of course itong mga nabanggit natin, yung Apple. Isipin mo, sila ay nagbebenta ng 46 billion sa loob ng China. Ito pa, wala pang imik ang China tungkol dito. No?
Meron na.
Meron na.
Isang araw na ang Apple,
Ano sabi?
mag-i-increase daw ng, maglalabas sila ng bago. Pero mukhang nakikita na ng China yon kasi masyado nang napakataas. Ang Apple ang nag-complain, nabi niya, na ayaw niya palalay ng gera at taripa. Kasi pag nag-impose ng taripa, kumikita sila ng malaki. At hindi sila, sabi nila, hindi nila masusunod, didinify nila yung suggestion ng na lilipat sila sa US. Bring back production to the US. Hindi ni-define nila kasi hindi nila kaya ang cost of production. Hindi babagsak ang kanilang negosyo. Babagsak masyado. Kaya ayaw nila. Yan ang isa sa nabanggit yan eh.
So isa sa mga exports ng China to the US is Apple products na ginagawa sa loob ng China.
Ay, hindi lang yun. Yung Boeing mismo. 80% yata ng airlines sa China ay galing pa nga.
Galing
Boeing.
No?
Mabuti pa nga sila, Boeing. Hindi tayo dito. Ano pa, Airbus ang ginagamit natin eh. At saka, there are many things anomalous sa US-Chinese trade war. For instance, Apple, you mentioned Apple. Ang Apple, mas marami pa Chinese na bumibili ng apples kaysa sa Amerikano mismo. Anong indicator yan? Anong ibig sabihin yan? Ang ibig sabihin, mas hirap ang mga Amerikano kaysa sa China. Nakakayanan nilang bilhin yan eh. Mas malaki ang sales nila sa China. Yan ang isa. Ikalawa, ang ikalawa na napapansin dyan sa anong yan, ang eroplano, mas malaking sales. Mayroon pa silang isang binanggit doon. Ngayon, ito, hindi na issue dito ang issue kung bakit nakakalamang. Ang Amerikano mismo, pinagagawa nila, ito hindi alam ito ng tao, halos hindi pa ito nalalaman ng tao. Nang ini-impose nila ang taripa sa mga produkto kuno, ang tinamaan itong mga kumpanyang ito. Sapagkat, itong mga kumpanyang ito, pag itinaripa mo yan, tatablas ang presyo. It will be tabla. Kung magkano ang presyo sa Amerika niya, pinagawa mo sa China, sabihin na lang natin. Kung nagpapagawa mo dito sa Pilipinas yan, o ibibenta pula sa US yan, sabihin mo na 10,000. Napapagawa mo dito sa China, sabihin na 4,000. Pagpasok sa US yan, kahit na sabihin mo na regular lang na taripa, halos magle-level yan. Ang level niyan, hindi papayag ang Amerikano na makapasok yan kahit na American brand yan na pumasok nagkakaroon ng preferential treatment, reduced tariff. Alam mo kung bakit? Ang sagot nila simple lang eh. Nawala na kami ng trabaho, magtataksikseb ka pa. Ano ba naman yan? Masyado masakit sa kanila yan. Nawala na silang trabaho, ipapasok ng walang taripa. Ile-level yan. Pag inilevel yan, ang tanong ngayon, ang mga negosyante, ba't pala dinala sa China? Pareho rin naman. Hindi nakuha ng Amerikano yan. Kaya parang katawa-tawa nga sila dyan eh. Yun ang hindi rin natin nalalaman yun.
Okay. Well, we're coming to the end of the first segment. So, in conclusion, anong dapat gawin ng Pilipinas sa gitna nitong tariff war ng China at ng US at ng China? Anong advice mo?
Ang ko lang, talaga sa totoo lang, ang maano natin, siyempre tataas ang bilihin. Ang bilihin natin, ang matasapul tayo sa mga produkto na pinatawan ng taripa. Pero so far, nasasapul tayo dahil indirectly, may mga produkto na gawa ng Amerikano na pinatawan ng mga produkto na pinatawan ng Amerikano na produkto. Tulad hindi ko gaano malaki. Pero somehow, naapektuhan tayo sa transaction kasi marami tayong importation lang naman. Hindi naman may importation tayo sa China, sasapul tayo dyan. Kaya nagkakaroon siguro ng problema sa inflation dyan. Natin na maabot daw na 6%. I don't know. I cannot really believe that it has something to do with the trade war with China. But more or less, I would say it's manipulation to destabilize the government. Yun ang interpretation ko dyan.
Okay. So we continue to observe and analyze what's going on in this tariff war, trade war between the US and China. Ang susunod po ay yung pag-usapan natin yung so-called debt trap. Kaya ang China po ay nagpapautang sa buong mundo, lalo-lalo sa Africa, sa Asia, sa Southeast Asia. At paulit-ulit narinig natin mula sa Estados Unidos at yung mga American boys dito na maiipit tayo sa debt trap. Wala pong katotohanan yan. And yun ang papaliwanag namin ni Rod Kapunan in a while. Okay, let's take this break.